Hey guys, welcome to another video from myself, Fraser, and welcome to another YouTube video. Here we are today. We're back in the Saab 340, getting a bit more proficient with this, and through the quirks, enjoying what is quite a decent aircraft. There are a few little fixes that I reckon need to be done to make this even more enjoyable. Hopefully next gen with their Saab they can really do justice with this aircraft, and definitely a very lacking void and the aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator being the turboprop aircraft. But yeah, here we are in Auckland today, where we sort of left off from when we did a flight from Nelson to Auckland. We're going to do a flight from Auckland with this stunning Air Chatham's livery down to Whanganui, one of their actual real world routes that they do in real life. So yeah, we're going to get into this Air Chatham's Saab, then head on down to, oh, that's not the flight plan I wanted. Yeah, we'll head on down to Whanganui, down sort of the middle of the North Island, well, not the middle of the North Island, on the west coast of the North Island. A really cool, lovely little town. I've been there a couple of times. It's definitely a nice, a little town of 40 odd thousand. But yeah, we'll get into this aircraft. We'll go through the aircraft again and get a bit more proficient at it with starting it up. And yeah, we'll jump on in and let's get this aircraft all powered up. Right, it's definitely cold and dark. This is the first time I've done this flight, flown this aircraft at night time, so it'll be interesting to see what lights are on. So we'll just turn on these, have these lights all ready to come on when we turn on the batteries. So as mentioned, we'll turn on the batteries here like so, and then we will turn on the external power, get that all set up. That's interesting, the dome lights are reversed, so that's actually, if those are reversed, are these reversed too? Interesting, these panel lights don't seem to, I'm assuming that they light up all of the background here, which is, like I say, it's just those little things in this aircraft that we paid for that we don't, like I understand a lot of these systems are not modeled, but it would be good, these, I call these vital systems, like display lights. I reckon they should be definitely a important thing that should be, is that my, oh no, I thought it was, no, it's my head torch. Yeah, it's just a shame that these switches do nothing, which I reckon they should do something. Right, we'll get into this aircraft and we'll get it all powered up. We'll turn on the avionics while we're up here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll turn on the navigation lights. We'll turn on the seatbelt signs. We'll open up my little tab thing here, tablet, and we'll upload our flight plan into the game. We'll go to home, go to view the latest flight plan, import the weights, and we will go ahead and program in the flight plan. So as mentioned, we'll just go accept so it can load up, so it can initialize the flight plan. We will use a little bit of this, so we'll click on the flight plan button. We're on Auckland Airport, which is what we want. We'll go to menu and we'll go click on our departure. So we're going to take off from runway 5 right. So we're going to select the first option, go enter, and our departure is going to be Riki 5Qs. So we're going to go into the next page. Number 12, so we're going to select option 12, enter, and our transition is going to be already, so number 4, and that's our part of our flight plan done. So we'll now go to the next page, we'll select this empty option here, number 9, and we're going to now enter in our airway. So we're going to go to list, click on our airways, we're going to select option H211, so it'll be option 1, enter, and we are going to go to HN, which is Hamilton VOR, so we enter that. Just go to the next page and we'll do the same again, and select 11, go to list, select airwave, and we're going to go H325, which will be number 5 option. Enter, and we're going to be getting off at Whanganui, which is number 4, option 4. Next waypoint 14, we'll be going list airwave, and we're going to be selecting H247, which will be option 3, selection 3. We'll be getting off at Tenura, which will be our beginning off our arrival into Whanganui. So we'll just bring up our Whanganui page and we'll get our flight plan, our arrival loaded up. So we're going to be using RNAV runway 29. We'll add that into our flight plan. But we'll do that, we'll enter in select 16 NZ WU for Whanganui, enter, and that will come up as Whanganui. So that means that's basically your flight plan finished with the airport. And now we're going to go to menu, we're going to select our arrival, we're going to be landing on runway 29, so it's going to be option 4, and we're going to be using Tenua 1 arrival, so enter that. No transition, so go enter again, and we're going to be using RNF 29, so we enter that, and our transition is ADGAT, so we'll select option 1, and that's our flight plan finished, so we don't need this anymore. We'll get rid of the toolbar. We'll see if this is working. And our cruising altitude, we'll set that, it's going to be 24,000 feet. So we'll scroll on 24,000 feet, we'll push the magic B button to set our altimeters, we'll start our flight. I'm just going to see what, so we're doing a real world flight and there's an aircraft currently in the air and they are cruising at 16,000 feet, so we'll choose 16,000 feet. Right, that's all of our like systems and whatnot all done, so we will request flight clearance. We'll close up the door using a third-party software to be able to do that, which you shouldn't do. You should be able to do it all through the game. And we'll power on the engines. We'll come up to here, we'll turn on our beacon light. We will, as I mentioned, we'll cycle these up and down and up, so it gets rid of any little bug that they have. So we'll turn on these as well. Right, we'll turn on our engines. So we'll start with the right engine. Let that spool up. And now we will introduce the fuel. And yep, that shows that there's no bugs when you see the temperature go up. And we'll change the departure settings. I don't know why this always defaults to wait. Right, we've done that. We'll now turn on the next engine. Let that spool up. And then we'll get the fuel in. Right, we can start our pushback now. So we'll use this pushback tool that I have. Oh, it's really... Actually, I'm just going to go use another pushback because that one is not working. Alright, we'll start our pushback and we'll head on to our departure runway, folks. Right, we'll set our parking brake, we'll get rid of the pushback tug, and then we'll now spool up the engines just to that setting there, and we'll turn on our generators, reset. Should have turned off our external power, but that's alright. I'll select these to normal. I don't know if it does much at all, to be honest. I'll turn on the air conditioning. It's a shame that the lights don't work, the panel lights, but we'll just have to fly with our dome lights on. Right, I think we're ready to go, folks, so we'll request taxi clearance, but we'll just taxi on out. And away we go. Oh, and we'll turn off the gust light too so we can turn and whatnot. And we'll just use 1 notch of flaps. Oh, I missed that turn off, so we'll use the next one. And it would be good if our taxi lights showed something on the runway, so we're just going to have to use our landing lights to see. Well, we don't need our landing lights, to be honest. We can see enough with the taxi lights, but it would be great if they illuminated the taxi light a lot more than what that is. Right, we're going to be using this transition here. We're a Saab after all, we don't need the full runway, so we'll just use this runway entry point. And we'll just stop here. We'll just change this to full power. And we'll select this to takeoff. We'll select 95%, eh? We don't need 100, so we select that for our takeoff power. And then we go ahead, we'll turn on our strobe and landing lights. And we'll wait for that Air New Zealand Airbus to taxi on past. And we'll enter on onto the runway, eh? Right, and this time I'll remember not to power back when I'm taking off, but we'll gauge the throttle, get it above that yellow line. And I think that's all set. And we can now start pulling back on our joystick, raise the landing gear. And we'll start turning following our, oh, maybe a bit too early. We'll start our turn now. So we depart out of Auckland Airport. Following a little man in the magenta line there. We'll raise our flaps, get back onto that magenta line. And we will now go ahead and turn on our autopilot. So we'll select your dampener autopilot, and then we'll use indicated airspeed and climb, and then we'll use nav mode. And that's us on our flight plan. We'll just increase this indicated airspeed to a respectable 160 knot climb. And we can now go ahead, we'll pull these back just a notch. And then let's see if this works, so we'll pull this back as well. Yep, that's working. Now to 70%. And we can now turn that off. And hopefully that sets our climb speed just make sure I've turned on. Yep, those are all turned on. And we'll turn off our landing lights, taxi lights, we'll turn off our seatbelt sign, and that is us. And we'll speed up the flight just a little bit. That's looking pretty good. It's just a shame that these lights don't work, eh? Alright, we'll set this to our standard, so 2992 I think it is. I'll just play around actually, I'll just turn off the dome light. Yeah, nah, it's pretty, those work, but everything else doesn't. So the dome light's just going to have to come on. Right, I think we're all good now, folks. We will... Oh, it's gone past our altitude for some weird reason. Right, we'll dive back down and we'll get back onto 16,000 feet. And I'll leave you guys there, eh? We'll get back to the flight. I'll get back to you guys when we come up to our landing, so I'll see you guys shortly. Right, folks, we're getting close to our, I guess you could say, our type of descent, so we'll... Oh, wrong one. We'll dial in our descent to 12,000 feet. And we'll try something slightly different for this. We'll use our indicated airspeed for our descent. Actually, we'll just use our vertical speed, I think that will be quite uncomfortable for the passengers going up and down like that. Alright, we want to descend down to 2,000 feet, so we'll now go ahead and we'll select 2,000 feet. And then we'll go up here and we'll turn on our landing lights if we haven't already, and we'll turn on our seatbelt sign. And I think in real life, I don't know what we do in real life, but do they select these to continuous for the ignition for landing? We'll select that, eh? Beautiful starry night here in New Zealand with the Milky Way streaking across the sky. As we head on down to Whanganui, starting our descent. And I think we'll increase our descent rate. And that looks like Palms, Ohaki Air Force Base in the distance there. I think we need to drop a little bit more. Using the vertical speed dial here to set your vertical speed. Yeah, we're about to hit our altitude, our what do you call it? The altitude that we need to be at. We are pretty much going to be hitting that with a bit of time to spare. So we'll be hitting 2,000 feet, and then 2 nautical miles from Busby, we'll be doing our 3-degree descent into Whanganui Airport. So we'll see if we can set that. It's a nice clear night, but we'll see if we can set that and see how good we can keep it onto a profile. And we'll just peel back the speed just a little bit, just so we can do this right-hand turn without too much oversteer. I might deploy the first stage of flaps to help us with our speed. Alright, we're now hitting our altitude that we set, 2,000 feet. And then we'll go into this nav page, and then 2 nautical miles. We want to start our 3-degree descent. Oh, just a slight little bit of oversteer there, that's okay. And we'll deploy the first stage of... We'll deploy our gear, that was very bright. Right, we'll start our descent, right. Set that to 2,000 feet, set that to our altitude, and then we'll start our descent. We'll set it for about 600 to 700 feet per minute. Oh, and we'll now go ahead and we'll put this to full power. So using the vertical speed to follow this profile, it seems to be working pretty alright. We've got 1 red light on our puppy, which is better than 3 reds or all whites. So that's good. Right, we'll take control now of the aircraft and we'll drop our speed down. And there's a plane on the runway, we'll just disregard that. And here we are, folks. Arrived into Whanganui Airport. Right, we'll turn this off. And we'll just pull these back just a few notches. Oh, a little bit too much brakes there. We'll turn off our strobe lights now and our taxi lights. And here we are in Whanganui. We'll go ahead and we'll point this aircraft into the wind. Alright, and now we'll go ahead and we'll power this girl down. And we'll shut it down. Oh, wrong one. And that's us, folks. We've made it to Whanganui. Hope you guys enjoy the flight, and we'll see you again in the next video.